Hi everyone, welcome to today's topic of discussion. So today we're going to talk about the much used saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. This morning I felt called to just sit with that and do a meditation just based on that. And so what I did is I started by just repeating the phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. In leading a horse to water, leading someone to a different perspective, and when I say a different perspective, it's generally leading somebody to understand our own perspective, our viewpoint on the matter, the situation, the circumstance, whatever it might be. And it made me realize that if we lead a horse to water, there's a part of us, an aspect of ourself that believes that horse will not take itself to the water. And then with time, that started to not sit with me very well. Why am I leading that horse to water? Why do I want this person to see another perspective, another point of view? Or why do I want this person? Because sometimes leading the horse to the water, leading the person is sometimes, if we're very honest, is to get them to do what you want them to do. So as we start to look into this saying in a deeper sense, there's a truth in it, and I think a very deep truth, that we cannot help somebody who is not ready to receive help. A deeper truth again is, and probably one harder to reach and harder for the person who's trying to assist to swallow, is how do we know that the water we are leading them to is the water that they need? Meaning, how do we know that when we are giving advice, when we are trying to lead somebody to whatever it may be, an end result, how do we know that that's what they need? Because when we lead by our own perspective. We lead by our own experiences. Now, I want to change that up a little bit, because when we lead somebody, it means the path is known. The path has to have been previously walked in order for us to lead somebody. And I want you to sit with that for a little bit, or sit with it, and I will do journaling prompts, like a little worksheet on this. So you can take notes if you feel drawn to, but know that I will create a little worksheet to go with this that you can journal with afterwards and see what comes up for you. So let's go back to this walked path. So if you are leading somebody, you are leading them most likely down a path that you have already walked. You may feel that you have some experience in what this person is going through. You may feel that, oh, you can see where if this person continues as they are going, you can see where it's going to end up. So you want to lead this person on this path because it's known to you. What does that mean to you? A known path is comfortable. A known path, the outcome is known to you anyway. With that still in our mind, with that still sitting with us, I want you to become the person now that is being led down that path. Now, I think it's, if we're honest, we have all been in each of those situations. We've been the one trying to offer the advice, trying to lead that person down a path that we consider to be safe and known. And we've also been the person that somebody was giving this advice to. Somebody was trying to lead us down a path. The problem with this is that our paths are unknown. If we are going around in circles, if we are caught in a loop, and life experiences can do that to us, unprocessed emotions, pain, trauma can keep us in a loop. And that loop will become a well-trodden path. Okay, because it's a loop, so we always come back to where we've been. That is not being on your path. That is your path with a loop in it. So you go off and you loop around and around and around until an understanding is gained, and then you're back on your path. But when you're on that path, your life path, the next step is unknown. It can be calculated, it can be intellectualized. But if you have never walked that path before, and if you are walking your authentic path, you haven't, the outcome is unknown. The next step, or the next step might be known, but the steps after that might not be, because again, the step unfolds, the path unfolds as you take those steps. And this is where hindsight is beautiful, because hindsight enables us to pause, turn around, and look at our path. That's where we can see all these side loops, where we got caught and we circled a bit until we healed, until we gained understanding, and then we could let that go, let that be where it was, leave it in the past, and we could move forward. So back to today's topic, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. By trying to lead somebody down a known path, what you are most likely going to do is lead them into one of these loops, because it's a known path. And that other person generally can sense it. That's why it's so difficult to actually give advice that people take. And it hurts us when people don't take our advice, because we think, but I've been there and I've done that. I've experienced what you're going through, and I want to save you the heartache. And your path was your path. So your path was water, fresh water. It enabled you to move forward, to loop around when you needed to, and then to continue moving forward. But what if your water is not part of somebody else's path? What if your water is their loop? The water for them is not clear. It's not healthy. And this is where it becomes quite interesting, because we need to sit back and absorb that information for a little bit. Our path was right for us. And I want to state here, whatever the outcome. And we need to trust that their path, whatever the outcome, is right for them. Our path, which was sustainable water for us, could be contaminated water for them, guiding them off track and maybe into a loop. So then what do we do with that? And in my meditation this morning, I had to sit with that quite a bit. Because it was twofold. One part was, well, then do we never give people advice? And what is the point of sharing our life experiences if we shouldn't be sharing advice with others? And then I thought of being the person that was given the advice too. And I felt, and because I could think back in times of my life where my path was very unknown to me, who was walking it. So I can only imagine, and it was unsettling for me, but I can only imagine how unsettling it must have been for those who loved me, those who wanted to keep me safe, those that wanted to see me thrive and be happy. But their advice, I couldn't take it. I knew it wasn't my path and I couldn't accept it. And this is where this becomes painful for both parties, because there is a sense of rejection. The person that's giving the advice, if the advice is not taken, there's a sense that your help has been rejected. The path that you took, the path that was for you, is being rejected. And that can make us feel, well, did I take the wrong path? Did I make the wrong decisions? Confusion sets in. But confusion is also setting in to the one who's been given the advice. They might feel bad that they are rejecting this advice. They might feel isolated, that nobody understands them. They may push back and think, leave me alone. I'm going to figure this out by myself. And they may feel, gosh, what if I don't take that advice and do follow my heart and then it doesn't work out? And then I'm going to have to face the I told you so's. And this is where counseling is such an amazing service, because counseling doesn't give advice. Your counselor will never give you advice. They may ask you to sit in another perspective. Can you see another perspective? Can you find another perspective? But they will never tell you what to think or what to do, because as a counsellor, we understand that you can't. My life experiences are not your life experiences, and our stories could be exactly the same. Highly unlikely, but let's say that they are exactly the same. My personality is different. My values might be different. My end goal might be different. There are so many variants that as a counsellor, we can't tell you what to do, but we can help you find a way. Because deep within us, we all know the way. It's just fear and so many other opinions that muddy up our water, that make us unclear. Counselling helps you sit, talk, just with discussions like this. It's like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. Because we can sit on both sides of that saying. But have we ever put it together and looked at it as in, oh, it's painful when you're in both sides? Counselling helps you do that. So back to, what about giving advice? What do we do with that? How do we share? Can we share? Should we share? So the end feeling that I came with this phrase is, we can share our experiences. And when we share our experience with no desire, no need for an end result, not to give advice, not for somebody to take the path or take the advice or follow us, but just to share our story with no need for the other person to do anything with it whatsoever. I feel that that is beautiful. I feel that that offers something so much deeper than advice. And when we share our stories and allow people that are listening to that story to take from it what they will, nothing at all, some of it, all of it, to feel inspired, to feel calmer, more driven, to feel whatever they feel. You tell your story. You don't need them to feel anything. That's when everybody can take away from it what resonates with them. And that is the best way that we can put information out into the world. We can, because our stories matter. The paths that we have walked matter. But asking somebody to follow our path, to follow our footsteps, is not right. In this meditation, I felt that release. In the very middle of it, when I was seeing both parties and I was questioning, okay, can we not give people advice? Can we look at somebody that we love and allow them to make their own mistakes? And it felt big and heavy. And I'm not talking to you now as a coach or a counselor. I'm talking to you now as Christelle, a person who has family and friends and is human. And it felt difficult because when you open yourself up to the honesty of it, you can see both sides. You feel how you felt in both sides of that saying. Neither of them feel good. But when I got to this, just sharing your experience without any need for it to do anything, that's basically it. Share your story without the need for it to be anything or amount to anything or achieve anything, is how we send out the ripples of knowledge, advice that people can just pick up as they need to, as it resonates, without feeling that they are being led. So, to anybody out there that might be sitting on either side of this phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, I ask you to contemplate if you're the one leading the horse. Can you just tell your story? No need to lead. No need to be right. No need to be followed. And if you're the horse that somebody's trying to lead, listen to the story. Don't feel the advice or the pressure behind it. Just listen to the story. It may not resonate at all with you now, but there might be some nugget of information in there that you may use later down the track. So what does this all mean? There's a sense here of, like I said earlier, non-judgment, but there's also just acceptance. Acceptance that somebody has a path that they walked. They have a story to tell. And somebody that is maybe at a crossroads in their path or have just started a new path, and they're full of unknown and wonder and excitement and fear. And allow them that journey, that space. Because when somebody finds their own way, they are so empowered. And as human beings, that's our right to feel that we've got this. We don't always maybe know what we're doing or can explain what we're doing, but we're still going to put that one foot in front of the other, and we're going to discover the path. as we take it. And then, like I mentioned earlier in this video, when we stop and look back, because we have the beauty of hindsight, we'll see the path. So I'll link the worksheets below. I may even create a little blog on this as well. So keep tuned for that. I'll post it below if I end up doing that as well. And I hope that this has just offered you a moment of reflection, just remembering. I think there's another saying that just popped into my head, and it's there's always two sides of the same coin. And that's interesting because as in this phrase, we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. There's two sides to that. And we have all, I'm pretty sure, been on both ends of that. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, take what resonates, leave behind what doesn't, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.